This is the Dirt Life podcast. Luke Sherwood.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk some dirt. Let's hear about you and kind of what you do.
Yeah, right now I'm a supervisor for Sublatus Environmental. For the last 4 years I've been with them.
What is Sublatus? Like?
Sublatus is, we basically work in the oil field. We do full demolition, full asset reclamation, remediation. Basically the full works. You need your stuff gone, we get rid of it.
What's the best part about working there?
It's very, they're very based around their field guys, which is pretty rare to find. They really tend to look after their guys really well. And the project I'm on right now is the first time in my life I've worked 5 days a week, which is insane. Like in this industry, it doesn't happen. So it's great. Like that part, the schedule right now is fantastic. Can't complain.
I did a podcast yesterday, and some topics were work hours and stuff like that, and like I miss like everything.
Yeah.
Like I missed my kids' first day of school.
Yeah.
I missed all their birthdays.
Yep.
Like missed everything because like where I was working 7 days a week, long weekend, because it's seasonal, and then in the winter I went up north. But
yeah.
Dude, I totally get it. So 5 days a week is sick.
5 days a week, 2 days off on the weekends. Every long weekend off is what they committed to, and they've definitely held up their end of the bargain. And they're giving us 12 hours a day, too. So like 5 12s is great. Like you're still getting your OT, you're still getting your pay. Like it's great.
Yeah, you make most of your money off overtime. 100%. At least I used to.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, how do you not, right?
So going back in time a little bit here, you mentioned before we started that we used to work together at Kidco.
Correct, yeah.
Like how crazy is that? That was many years ago now.
Yeah, definitely. I went there for the first time when the trucking division started.
Yeah.
I got brought over there to help out get that off the ground, and it was just like one hoe that we borrowed from the earthworks division and sort of just went off doing our little thing, and it's grown now exponentially, and the management there is great. Like the guy that runs it, I still talk to him a lot. He's awesome, man. I love him.
That is Nick, right?
Nick is Head? Nick Head there, and then Trent Bradley, the manager there. He's the one that brought me over there to start with. And actually, Trent is the only person that when I've left a company, he sent me a big, huge message thanking me on like how much I'd helped him out and like getting it off the ground, and like it was awesome, man. Like, it was really great.
I kind of remember Trent. I worked with Nick Head for years. He's another foreman. We're both foremans there. I love Kidco. Actually, I'm going to get my old boss on here.
Oh, really? Cool.
Robbie?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get Martin too.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the dirt godfather, I call him.
100%, yeah.
Like, dude.
Yeah, 100%. That's funny. Yeah, no, I love working there, man. It was an experience to get into like big dirt, big bulk moving, and like my stuff has always been very detail orientated, and I wanted to get experience into the big bulk and stuff, big gear, big scrapers. First time I seen like a 24 grader, it was just like, dude.
And they have 5 of them.
Yeah, I know, right? And they're just like hanging out on site, and you're like, I'll drive that today. That'd be awesome, right? Yeah, so I got into that with them, and it was wicked, man. Like I loved it there. It was great.
Some of the people there are a little bit hard to work for. They're a little bit old school.
Yeah,
but
there's a couple. I mean, it's kind of like the whole industry as a whole. I feel
totally.
Anyway. You've got like
it's the same everywhere.
Yeah, we're in a weird kind of transitional phase right now. Is that like I've been in the industry a long time, but I'm still one of the younger guys in the industry, right? And like I think my sort of age group is split 50-50. Like some of them are old school still because that's who you got trained by, and then some of them are kind of the new school way where the the work hours come into it and work-life balance, and it's a weird thing, man. It's a weird area, but there's some guys I've worked for before that were pretty old school.
It's evolving. Like you can't act like that anymore. Like I deal with a lot of companies now, obviously, and I travel a lot, and I see a lot of what other people are doing, and for the most part, we're evolving out of that kind of era, the old school cowboy shit.
Yeah,
kind of have to, or no one's gonna work for you.
Yeah, well, it's adapt or die, right? Like,
totally.
And that's what it is, and a lot of the drive comes behind the clients because they've adapted, and they're not necessarily in the sort of blue collar industry that we are. They're very much office professional industry, and you have to adapt to that. Otherwise, that's it. You're done.
So you also worked with Johnny.
Yeah,
He's now finning.
He is now at Finning.
I'm trying to get him on the podcast, but he's like cameras.
I was talking to John last week because he used me as a reference, and the deal was I get swag. And he's like, well, they don't give out swag, I have to buy it. And I'm like, well, then buy it. Like, yeah, man, he's fine.
He's
like,
full of it.
So I spoke to him last week. I love John. He's a great dude. Like, super chill guy. Very knowledgeable, too. Extremely knowledgeable. He's a good guy.
His dad's awesome, too.
Yeah.
Worked with all of them at Kitco, too. Like,
yeah, same.
I know, that job was like the best shit of my entire career. That made me who I am today.
Really, eh?
Kitco, absolutely. I mean, I worked for Sherwood and some other places, but Kitco.
Oh, you did Sherwood, too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Kitco is like where it's at.
Kitco, I really enjoyed it there. I left for an opportunity to go to another company in town here, KLS, and
that was owned by
correct,
Kenny's
yeah. So
brother.
it's all kind of intertwined. But I was there. I've been there twice. First time I was there was when they were kind of going through a transitional phase, and I went up north and did some stuff up there.
Yep.
Came back because it was kind of seasonal. Had an opportunity there to get into, managing real detailed kind of projects, bridges and, layer cakes and tunnels and that sort of stuff. And it really piqued my curiosity. So I left and went there to do that. And it was awesome, man. I loved it. I mean, there's parts I hated too, but
I think I worked 2 days at KLS.
Oh, really, eh?
So this is a weird transition. Back in 2000, I don't even know what year it was. I used to work at Caliber Systems.
Okay.
I was a foreman there. And they went bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
I was there the very last day. All the fuel cards got cut. They're like, oh, go home. Like, go home.
Yeah.
You don't have a job anymore.
You're
go
done.
home. So kind of went through all of that bullshit. I got my last paycheck like a year later.
Oh, really?
Anyway, so there was a time there, it was like, we were all fired, basically. We had no place to go, so I worked a couple days at KLS. But that's not really what I wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure.
I ran a dozer doing something for them, and then my boss, that also got fired, he went to Morgan.
Okay. Yeah,
so a bunch of us went to Morgan.
Yeah, and then now I think the ownership of KLS and the ownership of Morgan are related.
Oh, are they?
Yes, I believe so. I don't know direct relation, but there is there.
I went to Morgan, got fired for making construction videos.
Really?
Then I went to Kitco.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, there's a long story behind me and Morgan. But the thing is, I didn't give up. I kept doing what I was doing.
Yeah. Now you're here.
I have a team that films shit.
It's fantastic, man. Like, it's wicked.
Cool,
I've been following it for, I don't know, a long time. Like we were saying at Kitco days there, and it's been great. And you see like the quality just going up and up and up.
Trying.
It looks awesome, man. Oh,
like,
it really
now
does. It shows for sure.
I film lots, but now I don't edit. Like I have a guy that just edits.
That's wicked.
So
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Most of our stuff.
Yeah, man. But it's a small industry.
It's big, but it's small. It's
Yeah.
totally small. Like we all know a bunch of each other, and like operators bounce around.
Yeah, man.
It's kind of hard not to, but some
sometimes
are worse than
right?
others.
Yeah, for sure.
Like over 20 years, I maybe had 5 jobs, so I bounced around 5 times.
Yeah,
I would say, but
yeah, I probably bounced around 2 tours at KLS, 1 at a smaller outfit I didn't really know, Sublatis, Kitco. Yeah, that's about it, really.
What's your favorite thing to do in the field? Like,
oh, dude, if I could go back in time, I would kick my own ass and tell myself to stay in the seat. 100%. Without question of a doubt. I've always loved running Greg. I grew up around gear. My dad does it. Like, he's in the same industry. We've got like our own company on the side that we're getting off the ground too. And it's great. Like, I love it. But, staying in the seat would have been my thing. I love graders, man. I don't know why I love graders.
I don't like graders.
I see, it's funny.
I feel lazy in a grader.
Yeah, see, to me, I do. Like, when the cat goes over and finishes it, you're like, oh, man, that looks fucking nice.
And then
like,
a grader comes by
and then the grader comes by and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, that is, like, mint. Right? Like, it is so nice. So graders were like, county road stuff, I don't care about that. But, like, finishing out, like, a big area or, like, ditch line where you can, like, really get the blade up in the air, that's cool. I like that. Finish cat, GPS work, love doing that. Like, I don't know, like, you cat D6Ts, I love the
I like
cat.
all dozers.
Well, yeah. I actually really want to get into Liebherr. I was talking to a guy today. He's a contractor, does a lot of like finish work for remediations and or reclamation. Sorry, he's huge into like the specs and like everything of dozers. He's all about dozers. And you put an excavator in front of him, he hates it. He's not interested. But
I like both.
Yeah,
I like everything.
I'm more excavator than I am dozer,
Yeah.
I would say. But yeah, he was talking about getting into like a Liebherr, and I've never ran a Liebherr, and I'm really like chomping at the bit to get into one. But Cat D6, would love to be back in the seat of a Cat D6. It would be great. Or like a 345 Cat Ho, old school, no def, no problems.
When you get your other company up and running,
Yeah,
I'll get Trevor from Liebherr to get you a demo.
100%. Actually, it was with Trevor 2 weeks ago. He just brought out one of their new rock trucks to our site, demoing out a 30-tonner for Sublatus, and the thing's mint, man. Like, it's so cool.
I love their dozers.
Yeah.
Like, I drive a Beamer. So I like German engineering. They
100%.
tend to... I don't know if they over-engineer sometimes, but like they put so much thought into it, and it's so perfected that like there's extreme quality.
Yeah, for sure.
And the one thing I love about the Liebherr dozer, the cab is like it's super basic. You don't need a bunch of fancy shit.
No,
like all these sensors and all this auto traction, I turn everything off.
Yeah, turn it off.
Turn it all off.
You don't need it.
That's for the new person that doesn't know how to really doze
For sure,
or whatever, right? But the one thing I liked about the Liebherr dozers is kind of their approach to fuel efficiency. So the one I ran, I think it was like a 7. I'm gonna get called out 736 or whatever. It has a 4-cylinder, but it has a long stroke.
Oh, okay.
So with long stroke, you get more torque.
Yeah.
So then you don't have to fire as many cylinders in theory. This dozer was so fuel efficient. I ran it for 2 days. Didn't even fuel.
Really?
Insane.
That's
the size,
awesome.
I think it compares to a D6.
Yeah.
Like 2 days on a tank of fuel, man.
That's pretty impressive. D6 ain't doing that. I know.
No, it ain't doing that.
No, not at all. But then, like, I don't know, equipment varies so much. Like, there's some that I hate. I get in it and I just hate it. I hate being in it. I don't want to sit in it. It's just not a good place to be. I don't like the feel of it.
Like what?
If I had to name drop, I guess Volvo Ho. I just...
Really?
Not a fan.
I never ran one.
300s and 350 series just don't feel good. Like, the joysticks, man, that like these, like... I don't know, I can only explain it as like a fucking fighter pilot control. And like when I'm running Ho, if I was running Ho all day, kind of move your hands around a little bit just because, you know, keeping in one position sucks, right? These things have like 18 buttons on them, and you can't hold it any other way apart from fucking this way, and it's just, it feels like dead. Like there's no feel to it. Like when you're grading something or pulling, you can't like kind of feel.
Well, it's electric over hydraulic.
Yeah, it's just fucking dead. Like it just, but like I've run other ones that are electric over hydraulic, and they still feel real good, right? Like, you know, Cat 345 that I ran, super nice. Like it feels great. But yeah, the 300s, Volvos, man, I'm just not a fan. And the DEF system, somebody do something. It sucks. 3 jugs of DEF a day.
What?
Yeah, is what they're burning through.
Now, is that a Volvo issue or is that specific machine issue?
No, all of them, across the board.
Because
they suck.
Sometimes an operator will try a machine for the first time and be like, this thing is a pig or it's a piece of shit, whatever it may be. But what they don't know is not set up properly. The pump pressures aren't set.
So we've had them out a couple times to change out injectors, dosing, nozzles, everything. They're all the same. We've got, it's got to be 8 or 9 of them, and they're pigs on it. Like, it's brutal. I don't understand it. How somebody can be in this environment and freeze. It makes no fucking sense to me. And then not only that, like, it's supposed to be environmentally friendly, but they come in plastic containers. So it kind of defeats the whole purpose of it.
Yeah, the whole DEF, it kills bees or something, I heard.
I've heard all kinds of shit about it. Cancer, bees, whatever. I mean,
they have to find a different system, different way to, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
I guess teething problems is what we'll put it down to. But
yeah, but this has been going on for years now.
Yeah, I don't know. How long has it been now? Like 10 years? Def?
Something like that, I think.
Maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Still haven't figured it out yet. But yeah, man, like if I could, I'd go back in time and just tell my ass to stay in the seat. For sure.
I mean, I love being in the seat, but I don't know, I just understood construction so well. It's like, they're like, you're not allowed, you're running the job site.
That's what I got told too, same thing. It was sort of like, hey, you're great. Get out. Go tell that guy how to do that.
Yeah.
And then once you do that, then, you need to start looking at organizing jobs, and then, it's just...
I'm glad I'm not the only one, because, like, for a long time, I kind of felt bad. It's like, well, I don't really want to be a foreman. I don't
100%.
want to deal with people.
It's weird. Cause
I got into it, but...
Yeah, you get into it, and, like, now I've been doing it for, I don't know, 10 years now, I guess, foreman, and yeah, I don't know, second nature now, but, like, it's weird, because, like, I was actually talking to my dad about this the other day. He did a lot of work in England, like running gear and stuff over there, and like we were talking about it, and like the struggle right now on how to find good operators, and it's always a struggle to find, like, the guy that your quarterback that you want. And he was talking about how in North America especially, like your best operator, generally here your best operator becomes your foreman. It's usually how it works, right? Over there, your best operator definitely stays as your best operator, and they'll pay him more to stay in the seat, and then they'll find someone else to be the foreman to kind of do, the organizing parts and whatever. But like the best op guy, he's like your quarterback, and that's your guy, right? Like, if you compare like Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, everyone knows Tom Brady, but not so much Bill Belichick, right?
Yeah, I get kind of both sides. We just do different stuff here.
100%, yeah.
I think a foreman should stick to organizing and a bunch of different stuff. Like the guy in the seat can be like, the best guy is always like a working foreman kind of, but he doesn't have the foreman position. He's fucking helping the foreman. He's like,
he runs the trucks that are there, the rock trucks or the dozer guy, or whatever, right? Like your best operator guy is whatever bit of gear he's in, he's running all the show all the way around him. But yeah, it's definitely here. It seems like it's like, oh, that guy's the best operator. Get him out. Get him in a pickup.
Except if they run scraper. This is what happens. If you're good at scraper, you're stuck on scraper for the rest of your career.
Yeah, 100%. I've heard that. I don't know many good scraper guys.
I know all of them.
Gord I knew from Kitco there. Yeah. He was about one of the only ones I actually like kind of got to know.
Gord who?
Oh shit, can't remember his last name. He used to run scrapers there. Was kind of a foreman for the scrapers for a little bit. And then he came over to trucking one winter when the scrapers got shut down. So
Gord is now earthworks foreman for Kitco, like full time.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, so he was like one of the only real scraper guys that I kind of knew, and he'd show me what they were capable of and what they weren't capable of. Like, it's pretty nuts, dude, like what they can do.
I love to work with them and like build stuff out of them. I don't like operating them or and dealing with them. They're broke down all the time. And weird ratio that you need 7 to run 5. I mean, you wouldn't run 5 because then you'd have a single, but you know what I mean, 8 to run 6 or whatever.
Yeah. I never really got into scrapers all that much, but like if you you can tell when there's a really good guy on site, because like every cut is just like nailed. Every fill is like just looks great. Like every pass, and you're just like, dude, there's really no need for the cat here, or the the grader. So, but graders I'd love to just be in the seat of a grader. That's like my retirement gig, man. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go work for a county somewhere and blade some roads.
Yeah, that's the dream job for every operator. I mean, there's only so many county roads to do.
Yeah, for sure, right? But yeah, definitely stay in the seat. Foreman in though, like, comes with its challenges, man. You got to be a people person. As much as most people don't want to admit it, you really do.
You do, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I've always shit on foremans because like the old guys are not people person, and like just because you know how to move dirt doesn't mean you should be telling people
how
or
to do
being
it.
In charge of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you need to be a people person. You need to be able to like help them get through their life.
Yeah, you got to be like a life coach. You got to like, and then you got to like. I found too is I fucked it up like in my early career, is that I was too much like field foreman and not enough like client base. So like the way I would talk to the client would be like the same way I'm talking to Buddy in the hoe. Not the best idea, right? Like you got to be able to switch it between the two, right? You got to turn your professional pants on and like talk about it and, you know, explain yourself and reasons why and go through the whole rigmarole of everything very professionally. Then you got to switch gears and go out to the field to the guys and be like, all right, I need to put this in like field terms, right? Yep. And then be able to explain it that way. And the best guys I've always worked for or worked alongside have been like really good at that, like really, really good at it. They know how to relate to whoever they're talking to. Yeah. And like when you're the foreman or site soup or whatever you want to call it, you're the guy that's getting shit on from all the angles. Like you get your office shitting on you for whatever, the guy's shitting on you for whatever, the client shitting on you for whatever, and you have to decipher that in every direction. And it's not easy, man.
No, it's not easy at all.
Not at all.
I didn't want to do it at first, but like I began to love it. Like it's I like a challenge.
Yeah.
I found it the most amazing challenge in my life. Right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, you're dealing with so much stuff, and I don't know. I don't think I'm a show off, but like I would always try to take on more than I probably should.
Oh yeah, 100% guilty.
Like this one site I had, it was on the ring road. I had 40 machines. I had 40 11s. Yeah. Had 2 fleets of scrapers, 1 push scrapers, the other push bowling, and 3 sets of trucks and a 1250, a 12. Like just like how can one person manage all that? I couldn't. So I was killing myself trying to.
100%. Yeah. I did BRT like 17th Ave there, phase 2, the bridges. So I did 3 bridges in like a year and a half, which is like a lot of work, right? Like it was nuts. One was over a river, one's over a highway, another one's over a canal. So nothing was easy. It wasn't just like bridge. And I remember I stood up on top and you could kind of look over the whole thing, and I just see like trucks and hose and dozers going everywhere, and I had this moment where I was like, fuck. Like, do I actually know what's going on here today? Like, I'm not sure. And then like night shift would come and I'd try and find guys to run night shift for me, and then I ended up like, again, earlier in my career, not trusting the ability of other people. So I'd just be like, you know, man, I'll do it. Like, I'll just stay. And then you'd burning yourself out doing like 21-hour days, sleeping in the back of the pickup truck.
Oh, I get that too. Like, these guys were like on the hoe. It's like, oh, this guy sucks. So like, just hop out. I'll do it.
I'll do it. Yeah.
But it's like you can't do that. I learned that quite quickly.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Took me a bit of time to figure that out. I used to try and like.
I think all of us had that problem.
I used to try and bounce around all the time from different guys. Oh, let me just show you this. Let me just do this, right? And you think in your mind you're doing the right thing by helping, but you're really just holding the thing up. Moving dirt's a weird industry, but it's funny because like it's so expensive and like there's so much that goes into it. But like dirt's everywhere. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a rare commodity. Depending, I guess, on what dirt you need, because a lot of people don't realize that too. Especially when you go home to your wife and you're like, I don't know, clay today was just.
There's like 20 different types of clay.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
High plastic.
And then your wife's looking at you like, really, dude? Like, I had a clay today, just didn't want to work with us. It just sucked.
Yeah. Most people don't understand. They just think, oh, it's like dirt, but they don't put thought into it. Dirt's actually hard to move. It's like it takes so much fuel and horsepower and like
money, engineering. Like it doesn't just planning. Yeah,
there's a lot that goes into it that most people don't understand.
Oh, dude! Like when you start breaking down like just building a road for someone, and you start like telling them how it's done. Well, first you gotta
strip it first.
Yeah, and then
and
then if it's bad, you got to start doing subcuts, and then like if it's really bad, you start putting in geogrids, and then everyone's sort of looking at you like, this
is gonna cost a lot.
Yeah, and then he's like, it's just going to an A&W. It's all it's doing, right? Like that drive-through better be worth it.
Yeah, but it's gonna last.
And that's the thing, right?
Whatever, right?
Well, and then especially here too, like, you know, between freezing, thawing, heaving, it's got to be built right. Otherwise, your warranty's not going to be worth shit.
And roads too are important. Like, depending on the speed of traffic and the weight of the traffic, like, if you do it wrong, like your road is just gonna mush into corners where the semis are breaking, and like there's so much engineering that goes into it.
I know, like when we were up at the runway, it was like one of the first jobs I did, the tunnel up there.
Yeah.
And
with Tom's, or
I was with KLS doing the tunnel. I was like, my first stint there, I was still operating, and we were up there, and I couldn't believe how thick the runway was. Like just the pure like concrete asphalt mix, whatever they have, so thick. And then we did like the WestJet hangars too, the 2 extensions that they did on there, and dude, it's like a meter thick. Like you wouldn't think about it, and you're just like, I guess plane's pretty fucking heavy, right? Like makes no sense, but it's huge, man.
I took out an apron at the airport, or like a apron and a taxiway or whatever, going out to the main thing, like in 2005 maybe, with breakers and like that was the worst shit ever because it is thick. Like, how do you break that shit? Like, you kill yourself doing it.
It takes so much work to get it out too, and then the prep that went in underneath, and like it seemed at that point in time at the airport too, everybody was there. Like everybody was there. KLS, Kitco, Borger, like. Everybody was up there, and like the road system they had to like try and get in and around that place, you get lost every day. We were backfilling the tunnel and like got part way up, and then they're like, oh shit, didn't put the weeping towel in. It's like, like bust out the long stick again, start digging it all out. Like, that was the first time running a long stick too, and they're pretty sweet.
They're cool.
Just you can't get over how fast they move, like how much ground they can cover that quickly, right?
When it has to be right, you can trust Leica Technology to help you get the job done and grow your business with their cutting-edge technology. Training employees is challenging and expensive, but Leica's simple to learn, simple to use products allow you to get your workforce up to speed much faster. Trust me when I say Leica Machine Control will help you move more dirt more efficiently. For more information on Leica Geosystems solutions, please visit leica-geosystems.com.
I knew you ran equipment, I knew you were at Kitco and stuff, and then I sort of like left the Kitco world and went doing other things, and then like was following you on Instagram, and it just like got bigger and bigger and bigger and progressed. Like, did it start as like a hobby, or like was this always the goal, or like how did it work out?
I had a passion for equipment, like I loved it.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if I love it, why wouldn't other people love it just as much? So I was like, I'm just gonna film myself with my BlackBerry, tape shit up in D11, and just make videos of me dozing and put my phone/camera outside and get different views and shit like that. Throw it up on YouTube and just I was doing it for my own fun, basically. So as a hobby, and then it like got a little bit more serious, and then like I went to Morgan and got fired for some shit that I filmed. The guy wasn't tied off, he was on top of a packer doing some dumb shit anyway. I mean, it's kind of my own fault too. It was just shitty the way that I got fired anyway. That don't matter. So going along, it was kind of evolving, and I just had a vision for, it was like, well, I grew up, my dad was a photographer, so I kind of had a tech background and the stuff. I was like, well, my passion is construction, so I might as well just merge the two together. And then my idea was just evolving into this vision, and like it's still changing to this day, like all the time. So like I'm just, I don't really have an end goal. It's just like I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, I'm trying to help construction, I'm trying to use the platforms that I've built to do certain things to help within construction, and at the same time I need to make money, so it's like, oh, I can start a company and help other construction companies market themselves, and film crews and editors and graphic designers build websites and like do everything, right? So but it all came from BlackBerry's filming me in D11.
That's cool. That's really
2010.
Cool. Yeah.
13 years ago or whatever. So
that's cool, man. Yeah, it like just watching it over the years, it's progressed.
It's amazing what you can achieve when you don't give up on something.
True, yeah. And like the other part of it too, I've noticed, is like you go into different situations, which like I never worked for you as a foreman, but I would imagine you were pretty good, just the way you approach your.
I'm a people person.
Yeah, the way, and it's you got no like you're approaching it with a very open mind on how that company does their specific thing, because every company I've ever been at is all different. Everybody's different, right? And like you look at like, I don't know, guys out in BC do things a certain way, guys here do things a certain way, Europe do things a certain way, and not sitting there and being like, wow, you know, It's hard. It's easy to have a big ego about it, right? And be like, "Wow, back home we do it this way."
I don't know why, because I've never really been like that. The approach I took to it was like, I don't know everything. I'm not in the machine. I'm running a job site. I'm over here. I'm over there.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing what you're seeing. I want your input.
Yeah, yeah.
You tell me what you think would work best.
Yeah.
Like, let's all come together as a crew and actually work as a team.
Yeah.
And like, let's all put our brains together.
Yeah.
You're better like that than just me. I don't know everything, man.
No
I wish I
one
did. Like,
person
no one
does.
knows everything. Like,
No,
drop
fuck
that
no.
shit. Yeah. So, like, listen to your people.
Yeah. And that's like part of the new school way, right? Like it's not old school at all. The old school way, boss was the boss, man. And there's some guys I worked with before, like when they used to like throw the chunks of dirt at you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
This guy's throwing hammers, like doing
Yeah.
stakes and shit. He
Yeah,
throws a hammer at your scraper. And
Yeah.
like, or
Throwing
dozer,
chunks of
whatever you're
dirt comes through the window and like right next to you. Yeah. Don't miss any of that shit.
Yeah, me neither.
No, that part of the industry was the shit.
It's almost all gone now.
It is. Yeah, it really is. And it's definitely for the better.
Do you guys use like a lot of machine control or?
No, not a lot. Not where I'm at right now. No, I have in the past, yeah, for sure, but not right now. Most of the time, we're just doing a remediation dig.
Yeah.
So we're going off of, borehole data on whereabouts it is we think it is, but it's a hard challenge because you can never really tell the client when it's going to end. Like you don't know. You don't really know how much tonnage is in the ground that you need to get out until you start opening it up. It's kind of like an Easter egg every day. You're not really sure what's inside.
Giant pockets that are missed from the boreholes and like.
Yeah, like, I mean, you're basing a site off of a hole that big, right? And it doesn't matter if you pop 10,000 holes this big, you're still going to miss it. And then, you hit bedrock and it just goes everywhere. It goes in all the seams, all the fractures of the bedrock, and like, surface of the rock will look great, break it apart, find a seam, like a small sediment seam, and it just starts running underneath. And
Did you find water coming through?
yeah, water, you name it, it's there. And I mean, it's a good thing that they're going around cleaning up all these places for sure. It's a great investment into the province for sure. I mean, it puts food on my table and puts my kids in school and everything. So yeah, it's a challenge though. Like I'm used to like, a plan, a set of drawings. I can kind of foresee a few weeks out in advance where we're going to be. This stuff, nah, it's a huge unknown. And then it makes it really hard to gear up for because you're like, might be done in a week. Might be done in like one job we've got going on now. It's been like 300 some odd days we've been there. Still chasing. Like no end in sight.
Chasing what?
Hydrocarbons mostly. Yeah.
Like spilled or?
Yeah, so like way back when they drilled, they used to use like diesel as lubricant, right?
Yeah.
And it just goes everywhere. You decommission all the wells and got to get it all out somehow.
Crazy.
Can't just leave it there.
Yeah, but it could go on forever. Not forever, but like.
Yeah, there's a limit, obviously, but I haven't found it yet. Like,
forever.
Like you can be chasing for a really long time, and it seems like, and sometimes you're moving like 9 meters of overburden to get to a seam that's 10 cents thick.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like, and when you're pricing it, like if you're looking at it as a per ton rate going to the landfill, like if you're moving 9 meters of overburden to get to 100 tons of stuff you're going to get paid for. Yeah, it's a different, man, it's a different industry, right? So like the price per ton is huge, but I don't really know how you would, how else you would try and figure out where it is. We've tried all kinds of stuff. We've tried like ground penetrating radar, borehole logs. We've tried water management, injection wells, like all kinds of stuff. And it's just, at the end of the day, just taking it out is better. The one we're on right now, literally where I came from before we were here, we're chasing it down to 10.5 meters is where we know, according to the borehole logs, that it ends. But there's no guarantees.
Crazy.
So, I mean, you're 10.5 meters deep in a farmer's field. Nothing, to my knowledge, is ever going to get built out there that's going to go that deep, right? But, regulations are the regulations, and it's all government-controlled regulations, so you got to follow them. Don't really have a choice. It's It's a good thing. I mean, you got to imagine, like, you know, the water table's down there.
Yeah.
And you don't want it affecting, you know, neighborhoods around or farmers' wells around. So clean it up best you can.
Crazy. I've never really heard much about that before. So I'm learning a lot right now.
Yeah, like it's the only reason I left doing the civil stuff that I was doing is because, and it was actually Johnny Boy there, and we were talking about it, and it piqued my interest because there were so many sort of unknowns. Like every dig you start, you just sort of like, well, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if I need a 300, a 250, a 480. Like, I don't know. And it's always evolving to like, you think you've got like the whole thing clean, and then all of a sudden there'll be like one tiny little spot, and your EFS guy will come out and they test everything, and they come out and they'll like one tiny little sample will fail. But then one tiny sample turned into like a huge pocket that was like 100,000 tons coming out. So now all of a sudden you've gone from like telling the client, yeah, I'm going to be done soon, to, hey, it's looking like the other side of Christmas, which is never a fun thing.
Who's the client? Because it's paid by the government. So like,
yeah, so some are private oil well companies that, you know, they have an obligation to clean up some of their assets.
Should they have to pay for that?
Yeah, they're paying for it. So
it's not always the government.
Not always, no. I mean, the orphan well is government, and we do a lot for them too. And that's a lot of like, you know, companies that didn't make it, and they've left their assets behind. They've sort of inherited it, gone in, clean them up. But other companies, they have to spend, you know, legally, they have to spend so much a year on cleanup. So, yeah, it's a different side of the industry that I've never seen before. And adding some civil earthworks experience to it definitely helped, for sure. But like on a lot of these sites, you know, the bedrock sites, a lot of these impacted landfills, they won't take any rocks that are bigger than like 4 inches.
What?
Yeah, man.
Why?
Makes it so hard for them to process. So what we do now is we have crushers on site. And we crush everything down, break it down into 500-ton piles, retest every...
Costs even more to do the job now.
Yep. And then you test every 500 ton, and everything's all about testing, right?
Yeah.
Everything's all about the data. Everything's all about testing. You don't do anything without the tests. You can't just go off your gut feel. You got to prove it because it's a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, it's a different world, man.
So going down 10 meters, what does that look like?
We do everything in 1-by-1 steps. So a meter down, meter out, meter down.
That's what I was looking for, yeah.
Yeah. Stepping it all the way down. The reason we do like actual steps rather than just like a slope is for our testers. Oh. No, it's for our testers.
Get up and down?
Yeah, our testers need to test every meter down the hole, so it's just easier to make a full bench for them to go all the way around the hole at 2 meters, all the way around at 3 meters. And then everything's stepped all the way down, hit bedrock, start breaking, ripping, whatever it takes to get it out of the ground. And then you're dealing with things like, you know, you start getting into the water table. Now you're dealing with water treatment systems. And then you've got to treat all the water on site before you can get rid of it. So there's certain limits that we have to hit before you treat it. And yeah, it becomes complicated, man, like real quick. And then there's, you know, different landfills accept different classifications of materials. So you got hydrocarbons, you got sulfides, you got chlorides, you got all kinds of different stuff in there that it could be. And there's all different landfills that will take it. Some are in Rocky Mountain House, some are in Brooks, some are in Calgary. Like, it's all over the place. So pricing, it's difficult. I don't envy our PM. Like, he's a younger guy.
I can imagine.
Yeah, he's a younger guy, the PM that I work with. He's a wicked dude. Like, really, really great guy. He keeps his cool. He keeps his ego out of it. Like, he's a great dude to work with, but I definitely don't envy him on the pricing of stuff, for sure. I'll help him out where I can, but, like, yeah he's got his hands full, man. Like, big time.
So your hole is half dug and it starts pouring rain. What happens?
Starts pouring rain.
Because, like, it's a giant hole. It's not draining anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. So generally what we'll do is we carry on working because most of our stuff is on site. So we'll just keep plowing through the rain. We'll just keep working. Starts filling out water. You get a bunch of groundwater in there. Unfortunately, the way it works is you got to treat it. And guys have different way of excavating the holes. The best way I think I've found to do it is to try and go down and find your base first before you go out. because we only get so much room on sites before we have to start dealing with like landowners to make it bigger, wider, which then obviously costs more money to buy it, lease it off of them. Crops that you got to pay for if you damage them. So the bigger it gets, the more it costs, obviously. And then starts filling up with water. We treat it. Start treating the water, so we'll build 2 cells on site, 2 water cells, line them, pump all the impacted water into one treatment system in the middle, pump it through the treatment system into the other pond that we've created, the other cell that we create, test that. If it's clean, we try and use it on site for dust control or packing in backfill lifts or whatever the case may be. If you can't get it clean, it's got to go, man.
So you're actually able to treat the water to a point where you could spray it on the ground?
Yeah, you can use it again.
Gotcha.
100%, yeah. It's interesting stuff. It's a different side of the industry that I've never dealt with before.
Yeah, so foreign to me. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then there's other things we do, like crown land restoration, and it would like, for a guy like me who likes like really nice, like we were talking about the grader, dozer, finished stuff, crown land restoration is not that.
No?
No, it's like go in there and like rough it all up and make it look like as natural. And disgusting as you possibly can. And then the client's like, yeah, dude, that's perfect. And you're just like, I can't, like, I don't like it. So that part I'm not real good at, but the big digs is what I do now for them.
So like that crown land is like for hunters, dirt bikers, like what?
It's crown land, man. Like if there's a lease, oil lease out in crown land that, is no more, we go back, put it back to normal, and you can't, nothing in nature is like finished, right? It's up, it's down. We'll spread like trees on it, debris all over it, leaves, whatever. Just spread it all over the whole area. Make sure you got your topsoil coverage and carry on. It's totally different to civil. It's cool. It's interesting to learn. Like last 4 years I've been doing it. Definitely don't know everything there is to know.
Never will, man.
Never will. Like I think I got a pretty good base on it now, but yeah, it was hard, man. And it goes against everything that you kind of know too already, because you're like production. They're like, no, you need to wait for the test. Like, right.
What's your thoughts on an operator that has been everywhere, done everything, knows everything? I know the answer. I just wonder.
Yeah, fuck. I don't know, dude. Like they don't. I was thinking about this.
They're usually the worst.
Yeah,
and don't know anything.
They don't usually fucking know anything. The guy that actually I hate more than that, there's one other kind of guy, and you would have seen it before, 100%. It's usually the same guy saying the same shit, but there's one other thing that they say that I can't, like, it just fucking pisses me off, is when they go, you know what, man, I could fucking go up north right now and make $80 an hour. I had to call yesterday.
Okay, go.
And yeah, and then my answer is always the same, like, then fucking leave, dude. Like, if you got if you got that guy's number, like I'll $80, I'm in. Like fuck, let's go, right? Like I'm in with you. Let's go. You may be an asshole, but for $80 an hour, no problem, right? Yeah, the be there, know it all, do everything guy, no such thing. It's bullshit.
What's your definition of a good operator?
Ooh, that's a good one. My definition as a supervisor now, my definition would be someone who I can task with something, gets it done efficiently, and with minimal input from me. Because with the amount of sites that I have running, he is like, to me, your best operator, your good operator, he's your quarterback, man. He's running your whole offense. He is running your revenue. If your quarterback's having a bad day, your revenue sucks. Like you're losing money. I don't care who you are, you're losing money, man. If your main guy's out, you're done. So your best operator is that guy that is just steady Eddie. He can just maintain a pace. He's got a pace. It makes you cash, keeps the revenue coming in, and he just keeps it going. He's not killing himself to maintain that pace. He's a finished guy, and he's willing to help you. That is like crucial. Because there's lots of superstar operators out there that I've met that can run a piece of gear great. They can finish, they can load, they can do it all, but they're not willing to help. They are not willing. This is my fucking seat, this is my window, this is mine. I don't care about the rest of this. And the best operators have the blinders off and see the job as a whole, not just what's out the window.
I agree. Like I've always said, a good operator. Well, I have a bunch of different opinions on that, but The one thing is, the guy who can run a hoe and is on a dozer, so he knows what the hoe operator needs.
Yeah.
So like, he's doing his job as a dozer, he's doing this, he's doing that. He knows when to come trim for the dozer or for the hoe, or like what to move and where to put it.
100%.
To help that job
Just
out.
knows that. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, that's why I love dozers so much. It's like the busiest job. There's always
100%.
something to do. You should never be parked.
No.
There's always something to do, right?
It's the support machine for everything, right?
Yeah.
It supports every aspect of the site throughout. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what site you're on. A dozer always needs to be there for sure.
Another thing that makes a good operator is the attitude. Like,
100%.
if you have a bad attitude, you could be the best operator, but if you have bad attitude, you're the worst operator.
Yeah,
No one
you
wants
are.
to work with you.
No.
Foreman
I don't
doesn't
want to
wanna
deal with you. Yeah, exactly. No, 100%. Like, attitude is, I mean, let's face it. You've been in this industry as much as I have. I'm married. I got 4 kids. You got.
I'm divorced with 4 kids.
There you go. Right? Hopefully, I don't end up there. And then I see the guys at work more than I see my family. 100%. Right? Like Johnny Boy there. I'd spend 12, 13 hours a day with John. Right? I see that guy more. And if my operators have a shit attitude, I got to spend 13 hours a day with that. No. If it was my wife, I'd fucking divorce it. Right? Like, I just wouldn't deal with it. So, yeah, man, attitude is everything. And the other part too is the ego. If you don't have an ego going into it, meaning like if you have a green operator or a younger operator or someone that's learning and you're older and experienced and been in the industry a long time, if you're willing to help that person, you're only going to get better as a team. And the job's only going to go smoother. And the job's only going to get better, which means we can pay you more, which means, the incentives for you is more. But if you're that superstar operator, I don't care how good you are. If you don't help out the next generation of people coming into it or new people, you're not worth it, man. I'd rather have a B-class operator with a great attitude than a superstar with a shit attitude.
Absolutely, because he's trainable and like you're able to work with him.
Yeah, and he's able to work with the others. And that's when you're running a crew of, however many guys. It doesn't matter if it's 5 or 20. You're not always going to be there all the time. There's some shit you got to go deal with clients. You got meetings. You got this. You got that. They have to be able to get along as a team, and if they don't, it ain't worth it.
One guy can poison the whole thing.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Seen it a million times.
I was going to say,
I've
had a couple guys where you're just like, dude, and as much as you would hate it, like, because like I do, you get to know these guys as like family. You get to know their kids' names. You get to know what their kids are into, hobbies, because, they got to leave or whatever. Like, you're well invested in these people's lives.
Yeah.
And when you got to let a guy go, it sucks. And it only really hit me when I had kids. It didn't bother me before. I'd be like, fuck. See you later, man. Like, you're not worth it. Get the fuck. Now I have kids, and it's like...
It's your livelihood.
It's my livelihood. It's that guy's livelihood. I know he has 3 kids because he told me. And you're like... Ugh. So, like, it definitely affected, like, my decision-making on certain things, for sure. And it made me have more patience. 100% more patience.
Kids are the best thing ever.
Dude, I got 4 boys, man. Fucking great. I love it. I got 3 brothers, so like we're used to big old boys.
Yeah.
Had all boys with my wife. Luckily for me, my wife is a fucking rock star and wanted 4 boys too, and it just sort of worked out. We just had my youngest. He's 2 months.
Oh,
my
damn.
youngest, yeah, man.
Fresh.
Yeah, super fresh, like new baby
Mine's
smells.
13. He'll be 14
really?
in December, yeah.
Yeah. So my oldest is my oldest is 6, so I got 6, 4, 2, and 2 months. So my wife is one busy ass lady too. And that's another side of our industry too. Like your partner, like whoever you're with in life, this shit is not easy to be with someone that does this. It's not easy.
I'm divorced. I kind of messed it up. I mean, it's not just my fault, but like I was a bit of a hoe.
Yeah, it happens. Like for sure. Fuck, man. I'm working out of town. It's a young dude's game. Like if you're single and you want to make big bucks, man, set yourself up.
Yeah.
Do it. Go for it. Like, have fun. Do your fucking shit. Do all the things that everybody does. Have fun. Once relationships and kids start getting involved, it's time to dial it back a bit and maybe stay in town. You might not be like, there all the time because you go to work 6-7 days a week, but you're definitely home every night. So that goes.
Just don't do what I do. I did. Like, I had a girlfriend. She was 19 and was married and.
Yeah. There's a few of those stories up there for sure.
It's my own fault. Don't be like me.
Yeah.
However, things work out the way that they're supposed to.
In the end, yeah.
I mean, my ex-wife was the mother of my children. I love her to death always will, but like she didn't support what I was doing. Mm-hmm. Thought it was stupid, and
it's hard, man. It's hard. Like if you've had my wife's great at it. Like she really is. And actually the person that helped her out was my mom, because she went through it all with my dad, and she forewarned my wife, because she was like, "Listen, if you're getting involved with this, just fucking know he might get a call tomorrow and he's gone for 3 months. Mm-hmm. Just so you know, is this you all right with this?" So she was forewarned. So anything that happens, she fucking knew about it already.
Yeah.
But it's just tricky, man. It's long hours. You've had a bullshit day dealing with 30 guys at work. There's some days, dude, I want to just go home, say hi to my kids, eat my supper, and I'm like, done. I'm going to bed. My mind is just, it's done. Can't add one more thing to it. And then, your poor wife just wants to talk to you about, I don't know, some fucking lady at the schoolyard that was...
Well, she has her life, and she's emotional.
Yeah, exactly. She wants to talk to you about it, and it's just fuck, really, man? But, gotta do it, I guess.
But it's a good career, people...
It is,
to come work construction, and, there's good money in it and stuff.
I really wish, the only thing I ever wish about operators is that they make it a more of a skilled trade. That's what
it is.
It is, 100% it is. If you put someone in the seat, it's like giving someone a fucking saw. One guy who is a real tradie with a saw can build you something. You give someone else a saw, fucking useless. You give one guy a hoe, he can build you something. Or a dozer, he can build you something. Another guy, useless. It's a trade. In my opinion, it's a trade. It should be treated as such.
It is in other countries, in the States.
100% it is, yeah.
Not here, though.
No, and that's the one thing. I don't know how they would go about it, at all, making it, but it really should be. It really, really should be a trade. There should be some form of, I'm probably going to get hate for it, but there should be some form of school for it. Apprenticeship.
I talked a little bit about school yesterday. I have my own thoughts on, there needs to be a school, but one that's not a joke.
Yeah, I've got...
Because it's a joke.
Yeah, I actually was talking to the guy literally before I showed up here. I said I wasn't going to mention anything about him, but I will. Because he's the only guy I know...
Call him out.
Jonah. The only guy I know that went to operator school, and he showed up on my site, and I was like, "So, what have you done?" And he's like, went to operator school, and I was like, "So fuck all that."
So you know how to grease a machine?
Yeah, so you know how to grease it. Do you know how to check the oil, right? And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Great." Nothing else about this. So, first place for you to be is with that grade rod. You're going to learn that, and you're going to build this from the ground up. Now he's a supervisor with us at Sublatis. Mm-hmm. He's great. He's a wicked dude. But he's the only guy I know that's been to operator school, and it costs a lot too, right? For what it is.
It costs $20,000.
It's fucking retarded, and it doesn't mean anything. That's the other problem,
it's
right?
Sad. It doesn't mean anything.
It is sad. It doesn't mean anything, but it literally doesn't fucking mean anything. So
they rip people off. It costs $20,000, filled with false hope. They are able to get a job. You can get a job, but you're not able to hold it because you're not taught shit to hold.
Well, I don't know about you, but if you saw a guy's resume come in, right?
Throw it out.
And you'd seen that he's got operator school on it, right away I'd be like, well, he doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
Instantly. Right? I wouldn't even give the guy a second thought. It's brutal that it doesn't mean anything, but it really doesn't. So something's got to happen. I would love for there to be, Pushysix. It's cool.
Dude,
cool.
I wanted to do it. I had an investor. I don't want to get into it, but they were more about the money part of it, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it to actually help people and change the industry. I wanted to build a school where it actually meant something, so it wasn't a joke. Yeah. If you came to my school, you didn't pass the school unless, you get the stamp of approval. I guarantee this guy, if you hire him, he can hold the job.
Yeah.
Aside from being an asshole or whatever, but he has the skills.
The skill set.
Yeah, exactly.
And we would, I always thought of it too, if you were to set up a school, or somebody set up a school, you would bring in like supervisors and foremen from all different companies to come in, and like even if you just sat down and talked to the guys for a couple hours, and it's like, so what are you looking to get out of this? Like, what kind of industry do you want to be in? Like, you into the mining side, the oil field side, the civil engineering side? Because a lot of people don't realize too, like, there's so many different, unless you're in the industry, you don't realize how many different avenues. Yeah, right. That there is that, like, one excavator could be in
digging basements,
100 different applications, right? And they're all very different from one another. So I always thought you could get guys in, and I'm pretty sure if it took off, guys would volunteer their time for it too. Like, yeah, I'll come up on, you know, a weekend.
Come for an hour.
I'll come for an hour or two. I'll shoot the shit with some of the guys, you know, get some names out there. Because, like, a lot of this industry, too, it's all, like, we've been talking, right? Like, you know this guy, I know that guy, and they know this guy together. And it's all it's huge but small, like super small. So I think it would really take off. Like, I really do. And it should. It really should take off.
I was gonna, but instead I built a marketing company and doing other stuff.
Hey man, there's no one doing that either.
No,
not industry specific.
It's actually better because, like, I also have a passion for, like, what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Not podcasts and shit, but I love cameras and just, like,
yeah.
I don't know, I've always loved it.
Yeah. I'm always surprised that, like, none of the big companies, like, I don't know, like Finning or someone hasn't done it. But then I guess the more garbage guys you get in your gear and break it all the time, the more you make on parts. So, I mean, dog eat dog world, right?
Big guys are about making money, not changing the industry.
100% there. Yeah.
Say it right now.
Yeah.
Whether it's Finning or Brandt or I don't care who it is.
They're all the fucking.
They're all the same, man.
It's all money. But yeah, I don't know. I hope it changes one day. I really hope it changes.
Well, all I know is we have to do something. We're going to have no one to build stuff.
Yeah, it seems like the last 5 or 6 years, it's just harder and harder to find guys. Like, I don't know where they went. Like, I really don't. And I really just think it's the older generation is just getting older and retiring. Mm-hmm. And nobody's really coming into our industry because it's not seen as a trade. It's not seen as a profession or a skill set or whatever,
it's
right?
a shitty, hard job. Like,
yeah, it's blue-collar bullshit is what it's rated as. And they don't realize how much money you can make, how much, like, you can have a great life and you can make great money. Way more than fucking engineers sometimes or anybody else that you really see. You make way more than them as long as you're willing to put in the shit, put in the work. And that's another part of our industry. Like, as long as the hours change, maybe, and, you know, there's some things that need to change to entice some more people in. But, yeah, new guys coming in. I haven't had a green guy in a long time, man. Like, I haven't... Like, when I first started, I started checking grade. That's how I started. Like, check grade, and you were just looking at the guy in the seat, like...
Is he going to throw something at me?
Yeah, like, one, he's going to throw something at me, and two, like, I hate you, I want to be in there right now. Mm-hmm. And then
it's cold out here.
Yeah, he'd get out to, like, take a piss or run to his truck, and he'd be like, fuck it, I'm jumping in, right? Like, right away, I'd just start jumping in, mess up all his shit, and then, you know, they'd kick you out, and then go again, and then you'd get, like, an hour here, half an hour there, or whatever. That's how I started, but, like, I haven't met anybody in the last 4 years or so, one, willing to do it, and two, like, younger than 35, right? And, like, they're already coming in, you know, a few years experience or whatever, but not, like, nobody wants to work from the ground up to do it. They're all expecting...
And you have to be good. Like,
for sure. Well, to get an understanding of what you're doing, right? Like, when you tell people up means down, down means up, you know what that means. But, like, you tell a green guy who's never even looked at a laser before, and he's just like, don't get it. Like, if you don't get it, how the fuck can you build it?
So then what's the solution?
I don't know, man. I have no idea what it is. It just needs to be... I wish it wasn't considered such a bullshit job. I wish it wasn't considered an industry... Like, the technology side of the industry has gone massive. Like, there's so much cool shit out there, autonomous AI, going on. But the investment into the people to do the shit, not so much. Not really. And I think part of it is, you know, it's not really appealing to working hours. Not really. 6 days a week.
Stuck in the middle of nowhere sometimes.
Middle of nowhere, not really appealing. -30, dealing with bullshit death freezing up on you, not appealing. There's that part of it too. I don't think that part's ever going to change. But I don't even think, like, and I'll probably get hate for this too, but I don't really think the pay needs to change all that much. Guys are making great money.
I said this yesterday.
Yeah, right? Like, they really are. Like, for what I do, for what I'm getting paid, I feel it's just. That's what I should be getting, I think. In my opinion, anyway. I mean, if somebody offers me more, great. But, you know, for what I do now. But I think, I don't know, there has to be a way to entice people into the industry, and I just don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. I'm not a recruiter type guy.
Yeah, I don't know. We need to show the perks of construction more. Like, dude, you work construction? Yeah, you may work for 2 weeks straight and be in the middle of nowhere, but, like, dude, you can have the nicest car.
Yeah, man.
Like, you can have everything that you want.
Girlfriends all over the province.
Girlfriends like I had all over the province. Like, shit, man. Like, you can do a lot of stuff. But, like, the money's huge.
Yeah.
Like, we should be trying to attract people from other jobs. Like,
for sure.
Home Depot. Like, dude, you're making $15 an hour. You want to, like,
dude,
quadruple that?
Yeah, man. I really wish that guys, like, engineers, first year's engineers, like, I really wish, like, first year schooling engineers, that they get, like, time with the guys that are actually building the shit. Doesn't matter what you are, concrete, whatever. You just go get time doing it, and then you won't get shit on when you go out to sites later, and you're like, yeah, I need you to do this, and they're like, dude, it's not even possible. Like, really? We'll figure out a way how to get the same end result, but the way you're asking us to do it, not possible. Yeah. But there has to be a way to attract people to this industry. That, like, it has to be. I don't know what it is. Social media, like what you're doing, really helps because it can get out there to people that
has the reach, right?
Yeah, it doesn't, like, you know, maybe have not have seen it before. Like, I don't know. I don't know a young kid yet. Like, with my kids, I haven't, like, taken them to work and stuff just because of what we're doing, and, you know, clients are a little pissy about it, and, you know, they don't like that stuff. It's not like it was back in the day. But, like, you drive past a dozer, and they're jacked. They fucking love it, right? They see an excavator working, they're pumped. I haven't taught them that. They just like
natural,
it. Yeah. It's just a natural thing for kids. So what happens from there to, like, working age? Somewhere in the middle, it's taught to them that this is not a thing you want to do.
Right. So when a child is young, you give them a bulldozer to play with, a Tonka toy, whatever, and somewhere along the line, you're like, no, don't do that. That's a shitty job.
Yeah.
So, like, you show them one thing and tell them something else 20 years later.
Makes no sense. Like, to me, I see gear working, bigger the better. And I'm always interested in what it's doing. Like, even if it's, like, I don't know, a fucking 80 mini hoe on the side of the road, I'm like, I wonder what he's doing. Like, all the time. Right? But, and, like, my kids are the same way. But somewhere between there and the age of 18, whatever's happening needs to fucking stop. And so we can, otherwise, I don't know where the industry is going to end up. I mean, it's two parts, right? Like, if I was a selfish person, I would say, whatever. It just means my value is going up. Year after year, it's getting harder to find. My value gets higher and higher. Wicked. On the other part of me, like...
I've never looked at it like that, actually.
But it's true, though, right? Like, my skill set is worth X amount of dollars right now. It's no, in my opinion, it's no different to, like, the prices of housing. There's a market for it. And if the market gets flooded, price goes down. Right? If the market is hard to find, you know, price goes up. Yeah, it's great right now.
Dude, you're like a brain surgeon.
Yeah, right?
Or could be.
Yeah. But there's no, the way it's going right now, your value is doing nothing but going up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because I know most of our guys in the industry, especially running gear and stuff, a lot of them aren't, you know, don't have much more of an education past and make bad life choices.
I have grade 9.
Yeah, right? Like, I have high school, that's about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of our guys are the same way. And they, you know, you're paying them 150, 160 grand a year. Gotta make some shit choices. So there's a middle ground somewhere in there. I don't know what it is, but
it blows my mind how so many people can make that much money and, like, have nothing.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But then, like, nobody's ever, and that's, like, part of the supervisor.
But they're not taught how to deal with big
Fuck no. I wasn't taught nothing. Yeah, I wasn't taught how to like structure your paycheck to save or none of that shit. Nobody's taught that. Mm-hmm. And like that's part of like your supervisor role too. When you're a foreman, you guys are gonna ask you all that shit. Like, so, and you're kind of looking at him like, dude, what are you doing with your money? Oh, well, you know, and you're like, dude, we got like 3 months left of this seasonal job we're on. She's done, buddy. So, you got enough to survive? Oh, fuck. And you're like,
Didn't think about that.
Didn't think about that. And you're like, yeah, I know right now is like June, but it's not going to last forever. You find we're lucky. We got year-round gig. It's great.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, you know, the seasonal guys.
Yeah, you're not building nothing out of dirt. Mm-mm. So like, you can't build shit out of frozen dirt. We all know that,
you're just chasing it. Yeah, when it's frozen, it's actually easier.
So you just stockpile it?
Stockpile it on site, test it. When row bands come off, haul it out.
But, like, the good dirt goes back in the hole, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a giant hole?
Yeah.
Put back in all the overburden and stuff?
Yeah, all the overburden goes back in, then haul import in to make sure your quantities are all good, and then put it back to however the farmer sees fit, or so it drains wherever.
Gotcha.
Topsoil it, subsoil, topsoil.
Yeah.
And then, plant it, and off you go.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. But, yeah, I don't know. There'll be a part in the industry where guys' values will peak. I don't think it's peaked yet. I think the price per hour is just going to keep going up for the next little while. But it's definitely how you should look at it. And people that are getting into it and agreeing into it, it's like the thing that I say to them the most, like, get your value up. Mm-hmm. Like, learn as much as you can. Be that guy to be valuable. Your price is doing nothing but going up right now. Because, like, a good operator right now, especially around these parts, is where there's weight in gold, man. So, prices are going up. 100%.
Well, when it reaches extreme highs, like, I might have to go back and be an operator. Joking. Joking.
Yeah, right. That's what I was like. I'd go back in the seat for sure.
I mean, I do the odd time. I get to test out cool machines and shit sometimes before the public sees them. And
what'd you run last?
Last one I ran was a XCMG in Edmonton a week ago.
Oh, really? Yeah. How was it?
Surprisingly good.
Really?
What people don't know, it's made in China. Almost everything's made in China.
Yeah, pretty much.
All the other components made in China. It has, like, the same pumps as all the other big brands and, like, pretty much all the same major parts.
Really?
So, like, it's almost the same shit. There's other parts that are, they're a little bit cheaper or whatever, but, like, most things are made in China you don't even know.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. What I do know is they're a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, you can buy 2 for the price of a cat, maybe, or whatever. So, depending on your business model, your new business, it doesn't make sense to go buy 1 cat hoe for $800,000.
For sure.
I mean, you get 2.
Yeah.
One breaks down, okay, hop the other one, and you have a full machine of parts for the other one.
Exactly.
So, like, that ain't that bad.
No, not at all, man.
But it's not as fancy.
Yeah.
It's plainer. I like simplicity. I don't need a bunch of fancy shit that I turn off anyway.
Yeah.
However, I like Bluetooth, which I've never had in a machine. I've never had Bluetooth.
Yeah, the personal comforts.
Fancy stuff, but I would love that. But it's not needed. Like, digs a hole, man. So.
Yeah. It was always my biggest gripe with Komatsu dozers, was the interior. The rest of it I loved.
Me too.
Komatsu dozer, I walked in and it's just,
I hate the joysticks. They hurt my wrist because you got to turn them.
Well, they go the wrong. Yeah, like, I'm a hoe guy, so I like everything this way.
I palm everything.
As soon as I go that way, I don't know, it just doesn't quite feel right.
I can't do the joystick way.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
I'm
like in a hoe, I can't. And, like, it slides my elbows all day long.
Yeah,
on the armrest, so, like, I palm.
The black elbow.
Yeah, and then I just it's on the wrist, right? But I don't know, that's how I always do.
Yeah, but Komatsu dozers, the inside is just, like, I don't like it.
They use cheaper plastics, I find, and, like...
It's tinny. Sounds tinny when you're tracking along.
I mean, they've gotten better.
100%.
I also haven't been in a lot recently, but
Last dozer I ran was our Deere 950. I love that.
6-way?
Yeah. Love that dozer.
I've never been in one.
It's great.
Been in 1050 and 850s and
yeah,
450.
It's a cat's ass, man. Like I don't know many dozer guys actually. Your opinion? I ask everybody. So when you're in a dozer, do you prefer a seat straight on or sideways, like on an angle?
It's called cantered.
Cantered.
Sideways.
Yeah, me too. 100%. And the complexities don't do it well because the joysticks don't come with you.
So you're able to see. It's the way that your vision is on the blade. You don't need to see the blade evenly on both sides. And then also when you turn around, you
you're
don't
backing
have to
up.
turn around as far. You can just turn your head instead of turning your entire body.
Agreed.
Like when I remember the first deer I ran cat before, and then the very first deer I ran, I was like, I gotta go like this to go look behind me. I have to pull myself around. It's like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
But now John Deere does that too.
100%. And this is my biggest gripe with the Komatsu is because you can make the seat turn. Like we got 65s and 71s. You can make it go this way, but this doesn't come with you.
Right.
So then you're like kind of doing this. Stupid. It's one simple little thing that would just make it way better.
I did a review on a D65 and I made fun of it because the seat didn't turn.
Oh, really?
I felt like an idiot because I was wrong. I didn't know it turned.
It does a little bit. Not much.
Not much, but it does a little bit.
It does
so I
a
got
little
called
bit.
out and a million YouTube comments. I mean, whatever. But I ain't perfect. I don't know everything.
No, people make mistakes, right? But yeah, I mean, to say it turns is a pretty extreme. I don't know. Turn seems like a lot. It doesn't really do that. It just sort of goes, and then that's about it. But yeah, and I know guys that love them, like really love the Komatsu brand. And the one thing I will say about the 65s is they have a lot of pushing power for the size that they are, but they're also really heavy. Like seem really, really heavy. I'm pretty sure spec wise they're quite a bit heavier than a cat, similar size.
D6 is a little bit bigger, so the D6 competes with the D71.
Yeah, but like heavy, like weight wise, I know our heavy haul guys are always like, holy shit, like this thing weighs a ton, man. Like it's a lot for the size.
It shouldn't really weigh much more.
It seems that it just sort of like squats in and just goes, and like it's got pretty good pushing power.
Well, it's balanced completely different.
Yeah, and it's nice that way, but just the experience of it, not a fan.
I don't mind the Komatsu dozers. I don't like the Komatsu 375.
No, I haven't been on one.
It's the same size as a 10.
Yeah.
I like the 475, which is bigger than a D11, but it's like the way that it scales up from a small dozer to a large dozer, it's like it scales up weird. And at the D10 size in Komatsu, the 375, it's like a certain weight, certain height, and a certain width, and it has shitty balance. It's too narrow for the other dimensions of it, and I just find it super. You feel like you're tipping all the time.
Oh, really? Yeah?
I did not like it at all.
Yeah, that sucks. That's like the shittiest feeling in a dozer.
But that was also 10 years ago, so like I don't. That was like they were on -8 now or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what one I ran, but it was older. But
yeah, we've got mostly Volvo hose, Komatsu dozers. We're starting to get into like Liebherr stuff. We got a couple Liebherr hose now. Haven't had a chance to go run one yet. They've got like shears.
Call out Trevor in that camera.
Yeah, I got his number. I can just call him. But yeah,
Air him out.
Yeah, hey man, I need one. But yeah, and we got a couple new cat hose. Again, I haven't had a chance to get in one yet, but I've always been a sucker for cat hoe. Like for sure. I don't know why. It's just something about it. Just really like it. Like I like the way it's set up. Never understood like why. I think the reason I liked it so much is because Cat. I'm pretty sure it's Cat was the first one to put like and it's something so simple and fucking stupid, but it was like the radio control was right here. I didn't have to turn around behind the fucking seat to like mute
or on
the
the other
radio,
side,
or on the other side, or like under some. It was just like there, right? So you could just press it off, and something so fucking stupid that like people in management would be like, I don't care. Like, does it produce? Great. Like, make it produce. But when you're the guy in the seat, the shit matters like a lot.
The guys in the seat have a lot of power now.
100. Well, yeah,
if
that's
they
true.
band together, like if they don't like our brand, like we don't want to run this shit anymore, stop buying it.
Yeah.
At some point, the owner or whoever's buying the shit is gonna stop.
100%.
When they have no one wants to work for them.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I think it was the first one I ran. It was at Kidco. They brought a brand new 336 with the like oversized pail on it, and it was brand new. And I got it when it was brand new, and I was just like, yeah, like this is fucking awesome. And then I got in a Deer 450. Really like the Deer 450s, minus the stick always cracking on them. That kind of sucked. And then the Cat 345 hoe, really liked it. It was great.
I ran a Cat 385 for a year.
Yeah.
My favorite hoe of all time.
Nice.
Love that. But yeah, I ran their 1200s and 1250s, and I liked all the big shit.
Yeah, I really, was it the 1200 that was up at like Livingston there, that new one?
Yeah, I think they bought another one.
Was it 1200 or 1250 when we started?
Well, they have like five 1250s.
Yeah, whatever it was. I remember them putting it together, like all the pieces showing up. It was just like, I wouldn't mind going that.
No, it's cool. When I was a foreman, I always seemed to have one on site.
Nice.
And I tell my guy to hop out, go sit in my truck. I want to film a YouTube video. Like people thought I was an operator for years, but like I was a foreman. It's just like you didn't know because I wasn't showing that. I was just running machines. But like what you don't know is
you're running the job.
The real
too.
operator was in my foreman truck while I was making
taking a break. Yeah, it was like go sit, dude.
I mean, I don't even like those because I didn't have time to prepare, and like I'm not even used to the machine. So the first 5 minutes of me filming, I'm probably doing shitty because I'm
You're
not
just getting used to it.
trying to get used to the balance and shit. And it's got like a 10-yard bucket. Like, fuck, man, like shit. You don't want to dump it on its side, so you're being cautious, right?
Yeah.
But
first truck, overrun it. Like
people
shit.
don't know the story of that.
Yeah, that's right. That's funny. It's I don't know, when a new piece of gear shows up on site, it's kind of funny to watch all the guys like kind of squabble over it. Makes me laugh. Fuck, I'll run it. It's like, dude, it's going down breaking rock all day. You want to break rock all day? Oh, fuck that. And it's like, well, then you can't run it. Well, I'll just give it a try. It's like, all right, yeah, sure, fuck, man. The new lay-by rock truck, though, that thing's sweet.
I seen one last year in Toronto at the National, it's like Canadian Con Expo, but super tiny and shitty.
Way smaller.
It was premiered, I think it was premiered there.
Yeah.
And then when I went to Bama last October, they had a bunch of them there. I didn't run one. I could have, but I didn't.
It's sweet, especially for what we're doing. Like, it scales every load. It's so sweet.
Does that?
Oh, dude, it's so nice to have.
Keeps track.
Keeps track. Like, you can average your loads over the day. So, I know if and it really helps out on my end of things because you're like, okay, well, that operator's averaging, 29 ton a load. That one's averaging 23 tons a load. Why? Right? And then you can...
operator.
Yeah, and it's just the only thing we changed was the operator, and it's like, okay, cool. I need you to watch what this guy's doing and see the way he's loading it and try and match it. And then that way everybody's kind of the ultimate goal is to get everybody at the same rough level. I mean, you're never going to get there for sure because, you can have a driving license for 20 years and still be a shit driver. But ultimately you want everybody to be kind of on point. So it doesn't matter who you have doing what task, they're all going to perform. And things like that in the machine definitely helps. I don't agree with all the technology in the machines. I think it takes away from some of the skill sets that you need. But that one thing that rock truck has, it's sweet. And it looks like a stormtrooper too. So
it does. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love the Liebherr color paint schemes.
Yeah.
On even their construction stuff.
Yeah, man.
But the mining stuff, the gray and white.
Yeah, that's cool.
Badass.
Yeah. And what's that one video they got? The big cranes. One crane lifting the other crane that lifts the other. Dude, it's fucking sweet. I'd love to see that.
I met the owner.
Oh, really?
His name is Jan or something like that.
Yeah.
I met him at Con Expo 2017 in an elevator.
Oh, really?
Dude's worth $10 billion.
Jesus.
In an elevator with this dude.
That's cool.
And I talked to him he ain't shit. Not because I don't have respect for him. It's just
Yeah, just
I
shooting
talk
shit
to
with him.
everybody the same. You're a human being.
Yeah.
Like, you do the same shit as me. Like,
That's cool.
he's super down or super nice. Like,
Yeah.
I was nice too, but
That's
I
dope.
wasn't intimidated, right?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's cool, man. I would definitely love to see some more of that shit. Like, Libre stuff interests me a lot. And I'm hope more and more and more.
They're the king of Europe, I call them.
Oh, yeah, for sure they are. 100%. I can't wait till they get over here. There's also other shit I want to come over here, too.
What works there doesn't always work here.
No, not always, yeah. There's other shit I want to come here, too, like Scania trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my dad had those back home, and they're fucking a cat's ass, man. I mean, Peterbilts are cool, but a Scania VA is also fucking cool, in my opinion. So, more of those over here would be cool, too.
Yeah, they were pretty neat, yeah.
Fucking rights, man. That's sweet.
Right on.
Yeah,
well,
buddy.
It's been a good episode, man. Thanks for coming on.
No, thanks very much for having me.
I love talking dirt. I'm glad you reached out.
Yeah, for sure, man.
See, the thing is, most people doing a big podcast, like, they would go after other big people, big guests to get their podcast even bigger. I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
I just want to do some real shit.